On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from everybody. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Ancestral line.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, your brother Blacksmith, and sister Marcia will be joining us shortly, family. Boy, it's been a great week so far. I don't know. It's been crazy this week. It's been crazy. We got a lot to discuss. You know, Brother Black is coming in with the 1-2. You know, have some asteroids that have moved through the atmosphere today. I mean, he got a lot to cover today, so we're going to let him get into it, but we're going to bring our brother Tad on the bridge. OG Wisdom Podcast in the building. What's good, brother Tad? How are you?
Peace, sis. Peace. How you feeling?
As you say, blessed and highly favored.
Yes, I'm is. Yes, I'm is. Yo, for those who missed it, earlier this week, I believe it was Monday, Sister Keisha was on Doggy Diamonds. And she flamed. She smoked. Oh, man. Sis, you just hitting them bomb after bomb. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Our sister Farnessa, our brother Basil, who think he's first, but I've been here for like a half hour, maybe 7:45 backstage. So yeah, your spaceship moved fast, brother Anunnaki. But I was born on the Brooklyn Bridge, brother.
He's starting already early. We got brother Blacksmith on the bridge. Author, visionary. Here we go. Brother Black, what's good? You got to unmute yourself, brother.
Damn, Tad ain't even let me get in before you getting at me. What's up with that?
Early.
You missing me. Peace, Sister Keisha. How you doing today?
I'm staying out of trouble. I got to stay out of trouble. That's all I'm saying is I'm trying to stay out of trouble. But shout out to Doggy Diamonds and his whole audience over there. I appreciate y'all for inviting me on the platform to talk about the Democratic Party. And, you know, I had to break down some fundamentals, Brother Black, you know, for his viewing audience so that they can be abreast of really, you know, the history of that party. So I enjoyed myself over there with Doggy Diamonds TV. And, you know, who knows when I shall return, but be on the lookout for that.
Have you back soon. And that's what's crazy because he had hit me. We was on the phone and we was just bouncing around ideas because he's going live. He said, yo, I feel like kicking the Democrats in their ass. He said, I think I'm going to do something like that. I said, nah. I said, you got to get Sister Keisha. I was like, yo, she smoked OG Wisdom Sunday. I said, she was smoking. I told him we had a panel and she smoked it. I said, he was like, you know what? I never even had Sister Keisha on. I said, let me call her right now. So I hit you. You was like, yeah, give her my number. The rest is history. Because
yes, indeed. And also we gotta give some love to OG Wisdom Podcast. We had a spectacular panel this past Sunday. Shout out to Brother Sali Rowe.
Yeah. Brother Sali, Professor Carl Tone Jones, definitely my brother Gutter, Sister Tam, you, Dr. Covington, and our sister Ebony Africa. Yeah, the panel was lit. Everybody was happy. Me and Brother Sali was just chopping it up one day. Just shooting the breeze. And I was like, yo, bro, you know what? I want to put together a panel. I said, we had the sisters on. I said, I want to bring the sisters back because for me, as much as they talk about misogyny and feminism, we're balanced over here. You know what I mean? And we got to show them that the genuine everyday Black people that do have knowledge, we're not woke. We just got the knowledge, the right knowledge, that we can coexist and work together. And that panel was phenomenal. And I'm just so grateful for everybody. I was on cloud 9. Once it off, Sister Keisha always gonna do her thing, but the young sister Ebony Africa did her one too. Dr. Covington came in smoking as usual. Professor Carl and Brother Sali and Sister Tim, everybody held it down. It was one accord, and even if there's a difference in the perspective, it wasn't a disagreement because we all have the same foundation of who our ancestors, who our master teachers are. We're not coming in with the flip-floppy ones, We citing Mama Marimba Ani. We citing Baba Walima Baruti. We citing Baba Dr. Clark and Del Jones and Baba Amos Wilson and the likes. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Everybody on the panel was already acquainted with the works, so there's nobody guessing on what we're talking about when we say Yorugu and we talk about Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. And I thought that was very important because in this climate where everybody's talking about who and what Blackness is, their OGs haven't put in the work like our OGs, like our master teachers, So I just thought that was so important. Yes, Sister Keisha, but you smoked on Doggy Diamonds. I can remember Doggy Diamond saying whoa to a few bombs.
Yeah, he was like, oh. And shout out to everybody. I got great comments in the chat. I definitely appreciate the audience. Just wanting to hear me out and learn. Because that's what we're about. Each one teach one. That's how we reach them. You understand? So again, shout out to the OG Wisdom Podcast, C Gutter, Brother Tad for having us on, Ebony Africa, political analyst. It was just lit. Yeah. As Sister Vanessa says.
We're going to have to do that again real soon, maybe after the election, see which direction, because you don't know which way it's going to go.
I don't think there's going to be one.
Uh-oh. Dun, dun, dun.
What they told you on Planet Risk?
Uh-oh.
You was up there.
Wait. Before we let Brother Black go in, let me just give some shout outs real quick. And Brother Black gonna go all the way in. Uh-oh. Y'all better buckle up for this one. Here we go. Shout out to Sister Farnessa. Shout out to K Rush 409. Philly in here by way of Far Rock. I don't know, cuz Queens is wilding lately. Queens has been wilding lately. I don't know. It's back to the 80s. I'm like, wait a minute. Did somebody let out Pappy in them again? Because it's wilding out there in Queens. But anyway, shout out to everybody. Let's get into it. We got Brother Anunnaki on the bridge giving us the 1-2. What's the word, Brother Anunnaki? We have some asteroids that moved through the hemisphere today.
We having I told y'all late last year, that the talk of the year, and I said this numerous times after, is that the talk of the year is going to be celestial events and celebrity, and we seeing it just like I called it because that's the times we in. So everything that's happening is happening on a timeline that's already been established. And I get it from a few different sources. Bobby and Dr. Phil Valentine used to, and then Dr. Delbert Blair, peace be upon him, who passed away already some years ago, were alluding to all these things, that the future has already been known for a long time, and they have the book, and they're trying to change the timeline, and they can't. And so this is why things like COVID came along at the time, Project Bluebeam. We're not talking the beginning, so if you don't know these phrases and what they mean, you need to go look them up on Google while I talk about what I'm talking about. Now, the reason for Queens wilding out, I'm gonna start with that before we go. I get into anything else, is because the Tren de Aragua, or the Venezuelan gang that's tearing stuff up in New York right now as we speak, were put there to destabilize Latinos who don't follow the stuff we're talking about right now. The Diddy and the entertainment industry being ripped apart is to distract us in particular, especially in New York and in California, where the entertainment industries are situated, if you will. And to a greater or lesser degree, Nashville, because of the their country music scene and so on and so forth. And Taylor Swift is at the helm of that, but she's from a bloodline family, because the guy that wrote Robinson Crusoe and Gulliver's Travel and all that, I forget his name right now, his last name is Swift too, that's her kin. So she go back to that bloodline. As far as what I wanted to talk about, now I'm going to go into what I want to talk about now. I tagged you and Tad a few days ago with the link talking about the EBS is going to be this weekend. If you don't know what the EBS means, it's the Emergency Broadcasting System. And it's supposed to be where all the people who have yet to be arrested or tried and executed are going to be arrested. Stock market is going to crash. And all those things that I talked about when I first started on this show, because I thought it was going to happen a few years ago, but it seems like 2024 is going to be the year. I believe, like I said at the top, that with them knowing what the timeline looks like already, that they're timing this along to go with the flash. They may not know the date and time, but they know it's coming soon because of what's happening. Remember, whether you believe in the Bible or not, it said, look for wonders in the heavens and the stars and so on and so forth. So I can use that as a reference, not to tell y'all to go into the Bible and look in there and all that. I'm using it as a reference if you want another reference point that you can relate to. So that's supposed to be happening. I put the link in the chat. Sister Keisha, if you see it there, you can put it in the chat so everybody else can see it or what have you. Now, when that happens, when all this happens, if it happens, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying alleged for Sister Keisha's purposes, because it ain't happened yet, so we can't say it's going to. But if it does happen, what I suggest that y'all do out there, get some extra water, canned food and stuff like that, candles, you know, the things that you should have anyway in your possession in case the electricity goes out and all that other stuff. They're supposed to be showing videos and films. On that video that I'm talking about that I want Sister Keisha to put out, the guy said that we're going to see Barack and Michelle and Bill and Hillary arrested, blah, blah, blah. If you were into Q or even following it slightly when it was popping 3-4 years ago, as far as that was concerned, they already gone. So gone could mean they in the bottom of the pits of Gitmo or Tierra del Fuego or wherever they have these holding places for these people, or they're gone and what we're seeing is their clones. And we've gone through that. We've gone over that. Sister Keisha even showed a video with people in mask wearing and CGI and all that other stuff. So we know this has existed now. The purpose of Helene and Milton a few weeks ago, well, not the purpose, but we now know, whether you agree, believe, or not believe, or what have you, that weather manipulation has been around maybe 70, 80 years minimum. If you don't know about HAARP, AARP. Look it up. We don't lie here. Anything I say here, I can send you a link, and this is why I can say the things that I say and not worry about being sued, because all I do is research all day. Y'all know already I'm a targeted individual. Keeping a job is impossible. I used to ask y'all for money, what have you. I don't do that anymore because we coming down to the last days. And if you knew what was going on in my life, you would know what I'm saying, because, I still go through stuff all the time, and, dealing with it just is, it's like I know already where we're going, and I ain't worried about, life or death. You know what I'm saying? If I don't live now, I'm going to live in the next life, and I'm going to be here with y'all on the bridge. So with that said, my main point to y'all is just have some extra stuff on deck in the event that this stuff happened. Sister Keisha, I seen you put it says no link. I'm going to send it to your Facebook inbox, so that way you can distribute it to the people that want to see what I'm talking about. And with that said,
okay, so then I have that one. Then so I can post it after the show on the Facebook page.
Okay, I sent two.
Okay, all right.
One is BitChute and one is Stillness in the Storm. Which one you need me to send you again?
I gotta look at it. I can't switch, brother, right now while we're on live, so it's hard for me to do that.
I got you. Okay. I'll just send both anyway, just so you have it. And any questions or what have you, because that's pretty much my drop on that.
What's going to be the number for the Mega Millions? You ain't got to tell me right now. Just put it in the private chat.
Hey, no, it's going to be 0 and 1 to the billion%.
Here you go, talking to matrix binary codes.
No, I'm doing that whoop that technology that what's his name, Terrence Howard be doing.
Yeah, right. It's in between.
I gotta be ready for you, Tad. I got to be. Go ahead, Sister Keisha. I'm ready.
No, I'm letting y'all go ahead. But I was watching a video, and the guy was explaining pretty much everything that Black was talking about. But I want this to go out to streamers, those of us who stream or on these platforms,
content creators,
right? Appearance counts for a hell of a lot. You lose credibility by the way that you look. You cannot come on, whether it's true or not, and look disheveled, because it kills your credibility, right? How you present yourself to the world is very, very important. And I'm listening to this guy, and he pretty much saying everything that Black has been talking about, over the years since he's been on this platform. But I had to put on a message to him, work on your presentation, because we got to do better. You can't be laying on the bed while you streaming, and come on, family. We got to do better. We just have to do better. You can't be having a whole meal. We got to do better, because it makes you lose credibility. So I hope the brother don't, send me no crazy messages back. I said it very pleasantly, and I did it in a private message. I didn't put it, to everybody else, because it's important. It's important. Just like, you can see someone on the street who is strung out on heroin. And this person, may be or may have been owner of his own law firm or what have you. But and he's talking on the street with folks. You lose credibility in your presentation. So we have to be better in how we present ourselves to the world. You know what I mean? So let's just do better. So I don't know. That's just a general message, because a lot of, brothers and sisters I watch have very pointed information. It's the presentation that bad. You know what I mean? It's not a good look. And so we got to clean ourselves up. But a lot of things have been happening in the news, boy, before me and my sister get to our museum joint. A lot of stuff has been happening in the news. Let me bring Marcia on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's up, Sister Ma in the building? What's good?
Peace. Thorough Black Talk on the Brooklyn Bridge. It's nice to see everybody again. How's everyone
Mama
feeling?
doing yall.
You start real early. Him and Tad starting real early. This how y'all could tell they got a lot of ass whoopers when they was little. Because they just be starting. So I know the belt was their best friend back in the days. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? But let's go through some of these things that have been happening in the news. Have you guys heard about the Menendez brothers being released?
I heard about it, but I didn't know the details.
Check it out. Here we go. You know, we keep it thorough over here. So let's listen to what the DA says. Here we go, family.
That after a very careful review of all the arguments that were made for people on both sides of this equation, I came to a place where I believe that under the law, resentencing is appropriate. What that means in this particular case is that we're going to recommend to the court that the life without the possibility of parole be removed and that they will be sentenced for murder, which, because there are two murders involved, that will be 50 years to life. However, because of their age, under the law, since they were under 26 years of age at the time that these crimes occurred, they will be eligible for parole immediately. I have to tell you that after a very careful review of all the arguments that were made for people on both sides of this equation, I came to a place where I believe that under the law, resentencing is appropriate. What that means in this particular case is that we're going to recommend to the court that the life without the possibility of parole be removed and that they will be sentenced for murder, which, because there are two murders involved, that will be 50 years to life. However, because of their age, under the law, since they were under 26 years of age at the time that these crimes occurred, they will be eligible for parole immediately. I have to tell you that after a very careful review.
So, you know, now the Menendez brothers is coming home. It's coming home. If you all remember the story, it was alleged that they was essayed by their father. And the mother was pretty much a co-conspirator in allowing it to take place. Well, I've heard some commentary from some of the family members. They say otherwise, but I don't know. What's your thoughts, Sister Marcia? What you think about the Menendez brothers being let go and free?
White privilege still stands. As our brother Marcellus Williams was executed in September, and there was DNA evidence that proved that he was not the attacker, white privilege still stands. So there's nothing else to say.
There you go, family. There you have it. It is what it is. It is what it is. But you see, you know, these white Latinos, you know, they pulling rank on some things. And Brother Black just said, you know, these migrants that have been put in here is to usurp some of that allegedly, you know, but we shall see. We shall see. You know, with this whole migrant influx, it has been alleged that, you know, some of them have been dropped off in swing states. You know, we've talked about this on our platform before, that legislation is written, drafted, and on the floor to allow certain folks to, you know, take part in the political process by way of voting, even though they have no citizenship. You know, this is problematic. And I have to, you know, tell the truth. Tell the truth. You know, I see a lot of Democrats in particular and Republicans specifically upset about this process. But again, You all have been voting for the last 40 years. All of the legislation that has been written, that has been passed, you are co-conspirators. You put these people in office. You did this. And that's what I was trying to explain to someone that I was texting with earlier today. You have to have atonement. I'm serious, Black people, for what we have engaged in over the last 40 years. Everything that's happening to us, and we're going backward. We're going backward. And we have allowed this to happen through our own ignorance and our own stubbornness. To understand this political process, how it works and how it maintains itself, we refuse to do that. We vote just to be voting. I have seen on social media platforms people condemning others for not choosing one party or the other. This is what you all have allowed. I've seen a lot of you champion, your Tiffany Crosses, your Joy Reid, your Roland Martins, and the like. And they have all done us in. And you still champion these folks. It's terrible. I saw and let me get off my soapbox, since I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be real good, Sister Marcia. I'm really trying here. But Sister Marcia,
hit him like you did Magic Johnson last week. Just hit him like that. Whatever. Don't be shy now.
I gotta let excuse me. I gotta let y'all get in here and voice your opinions as well. Sister Marcia, based on what I just said about voting in the last 40 to 45 years, pretty much have really reversed everything that Adam Clayton Powell fought and legislated for us to have, everything that Gus Savage legislated for us to have, everything that a Maynard Jackson legislated and fought for us to have. We have given it all away, and we're heading backwards, and everybody else is moving forward. Do you think, Sister Marcia, that the generation before us and ours need to be held accountable for the atrocities of voting recklessly? Get through it, Sister Marcia.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially us, right? Forget about the olders that are out there, but our generation, we have 20 plus years of voting underneath our belt. And as you said, we go into the polls, we do, our job, and then that's it. We walk away. And again, like I always say, voting is like a relationship. Politics is like a relationship. And if the only thing you're doing is stepping in the door and doing whatever and not being accountable, not doing the back end work, not making sure, the rice is in the refrigerator, the food is put away after you cook the dinner, and there's more food for other people to eat, all of that simple stuff that we're supposed to do, we don't do it. And it could be the mere fact that we've been voting for only 40 years as a collective, and we don't know the process, right? We don't know that we're supposed to do A, B, C. Our elders didn't know it, so we didn't know it, but now we do know it. So now this is the time for us to train the future generations on being accountable and responsible citizens, because we can't just go into the booth, vote, and then walk away, because we're just like bad parents. Just, oh, okay, the kids went to school, that's it. No, our responsibility is to make sure the children do their homework. Our responsibility is to make sure the projects get in on time. We have a due diligence and a responsibility after the vote is cast, and we have not taken on that responsibility as citizens of this country since never. You know, we just,
No.
oh, the Black Caucus is going to take care of it. Oh, City Council is going to take care of it. Oh, the police department, we just leave everything to someone else to take care of it and then complain later. We have to do, after Election Day, you go to work. You have to work on making sure that things are done. We can't just sit there and do nothing. Anyone who's married or who has a relationship knows that the relationship has to be worked on daily. It's not just, oh, we're in a relationship and it's all good and dandy. No, we have to work. We have to have consistency. We have to have practice. We have to make sure that things go through well and well. And if we're not doing that, we're hurting ourselves. And this is why everything that our ancestors or elders or elders have worked on is being repealed right now. Affirmative action. Affirmative action is really what? 40, 50 years old? And it's being swiped away from us. It was already halfway taken away from us when we were going to school, right? When we were entering college, they were already dividing affirmative actions to allow other people to be included. Oh, it has to be inclusive. We have to add the Asians into it. We have to add this person and that group and blah, 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 blah. So we see the recklessness in our actions.
I agree, sis. But one thing I do want to mention that previous generations started organizations that were successful in attaining certain things. When I look at other ethnic groups and their organizations and how they maintain themselves, we fall way short. We fall way short. And I always say, you know, any group that does not have youth at the forefront is already dead. It's already dead. And I think, well, I don't think, I know that a lot of the leadership of these organizations, I don't care if it was Black Panthers, whatever, turned into dictatorships, if you will. And the people became cultists. Instead of fighting for the issue, they became cultists. So when those leaders were no longer there, those movements died, right? Because the head is gone, the body is dead, we don't know what to do. And when I say that to people, they get upset. But you can't prove me to be wrong. You see, the Black church maintains itself through exactly what I just said. They got youth choir, they got after school programs, they got all that. All that. What is it in your group that you have available for youth? I'm happy to see that the millennials are listening to our direction and they are taking hold of a lot of things. But there seems to be a bit of confusion, if you will, among certain sects. And we just have to keep the pressure on because it is working. A lot of people, as we said before, are working. For those of you who are older than us and don't know what's really going on, yeah, you need to take some advanced computer classes. You really need to take some classes because, and it really saddens me. It really makes me sad. Like even when I go to the supermarket for something, and the options that you have to pay now, they seem to be behind the ball on a lot of things, and it's terrible. It's terrible, and it's like we're trying to pick up the ball and run, right? And run through this bush and get away from this enemy and do what needs to be done. But we got to constantly stop to check them and pull them and make sure they're on course. And I understand exactly what Harriet Tubman went through. Y'all in the goddamn way. Y'all in the way on a lot of things. So now we have to correct these problems, right? You voted, for example, along the Democratic Party line. And in doing that, because as Sister Marcia said, you didn't do the necessary work, you got 128 agendas or sexual genders or whatever. And I think it's up to 128. Last time I checked, it could be more now. I don't know. But I'm saying this is what you put before us in your laziness, in your stubbornness. So now we got to clear out the bush that you set before us. So, like I told Ray, the next time I'm at BK William Mackey, we doing advanced technology class because I cannot deal. I got people calling me for things, and I'm like, it's like writing with a feather tip pen in an inkwell. That's how I feel when I talk to some of y'all. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What? Oh, I didn't know this is going on. I don't know this is going on. Because you behind when we were telling you in the 90s where technology is going, y'all was afraid of it. Oh, they're going to be listening in. They're going to be watching you. When your dumbass was being watched from the beginning. So now you're a generation, but a whole generation behind.
A few generations, because we're in the age of AI now.
Go ahead, Tad.
Generations, because some are still learning how to work the cell phones.
Absolutely.
Work the phones. Still learning how to work the phones. And now we're in the age of AI, where everything you see now, you literally have to question, the authenticity of it all. Because like I'll go back a couple of years to the Laurel Yanny experiment, where they played the sound. Some people hear Laurel, some people hear Yanny. And I had an epiphany. Like, is it that us and the ops hear and see things totally different? And when I talk to ops, I'm talking about our open enemies, because we can see the same scenario and they'll think a Tamir Rice or a Trayvon is guilty and may have deserved, and they'll be so sincere and genuine. And then when we deal with our people, letting them know our young people still have to live the Black experience. Don't think that the 60s was the end all be all. Because I remember in the 90s, when I came into the knowledge and the consciousness, I was almost jealous of the 60s, the way the elders revered the 60s. In the 60s, we did this and we did it like that. No, y'all can't do it like that because we did it like this. And those ways are antiquated. And me being a humble student, it almost made me minimize my own personal experience. Growing up in New York in the 90s, still had to deal with police brutality, still dealing with racism because I worked in Carlstadt, New Jersey. Like, I still dealt with these things. But since it wasn't like they dealt with it, it almost like it's not valid enough, if that makes any sense. And as I learned to come into my own and find the value in all of my experience, good, bad, and indifferent, I realized I don't need nobody validation to do the work for our community. I don't need these old people work. Remember, so many of the elders, notable ones, are down with the agenda. They are cool with this gender confusion. They are buddy with these politicians that push these agendas forward. And then they come into our community talking about, well, we got these people in our family. Yeah, we got them in our family, and they knew to stay in line, and they knew not to touch no damn kids in this family neither. But now you're telling them it's okay. So I thought there was only two gender expressions, even when the folks was confused. We used to say the boys is like this, call the sissies like this, he like this. But now, and
my grandmother used to say that boy la-di-da.
Right. They call them sissies. I remember my grandmother used to call the girls bull daggers. That old butch, she a bull dagger. My grandmother's, those was words used by my grandmothers when women weren't ladylike, because I remember them telling my cousins, put on a slip under that skirt, sit with your legs crossed. They taught them how to be women at young ages. We don't see that no more. You saw real conversations being held while grandma, auntie, and mommy braided their hair. What's expected of you as a woman? Me as a young man being in with the men in the family, what's expected of you as a boy? As a boy, you're gonna grow to be a man. This is what we do, this is what we expect. Now that conversation is taboo because we're trying to push them in the wrong direction. We're trying to pick their agenda for them. No, God picked their agenda for them. This is the responsibility that comes with it. Now, mind you, I'm just talking about my regular old pig's feet, pig ear eating black family. I ain't talking about nobody who knew who Dr. Clark and Dr. Amos was. This was just the fundamental of the black experience. You protect the family, act like you got some damn sense when you go out this house. You represent the whole family, not just yourself. But now everybody's individuals. And like you said, Sister Keisha, even with the cultism, because we still waiting on that school to get open, though many of us in different organizations still donated money. And if you say anything about that damn school, you COINTELPRO, you an agent provocateur. No, I'm a concerned brother who really cares about the community and ain't gonna let nobody rob me without a gun, because even if you got a gun, I'm still gonna try you and see if you're a killer. But that's just me. But you're not robbing me without a gun. But here it is. We got these snake oil salesmen. I've sat in so many lectures. I'm about to get off my soapboxes. I'm getting pissed off. I've sat in so many lectures and watched the presenter disrespect the audience, and MFers clap. MFers clap for them, for the disrespect, just because they're fiery. No, he's full of shit. Let's call it what it is. These knockoff Dr. Khaled's and bootleg Dr. Amos's, these people don't have the credentials. All they do is spit rhetoric. And just because they're yelling, you think they're passionate. No, they just fools. Like, look, you had Sucker Polite in our midst, touching on children. I knew he was a fraud from the gate, because any dude that's gonna come out with makeup to connect with the people ain't really about that life. Look, you got the dude the dude who building that college from kindergarten to college with just him by himself. That dude,
Dr. Sukiani.
Yeah, Dr. Thank you, brother. You still got Dr. Sukiani fleecing the people for the, and then you got all these other little knuckleheads sprinkled around. When back in the days, if you came amongst the people with that foolishness, you got what the guard bodies called universal justice. You got hands and feet put on you because we took what we doing serious. And I say all that, right? Because now here we are on the cusp of the election, and you really got folks confused. Folks are confused in the direction we should go in. I'm not saying vote Trump. I'm not saying vote Kamala. I'm saying this is the time for our self-awareness to acknowledge that we don't have the political education that we need to move forward. So we should be seeking out and organizing around political education if we're going to talk about voting and demands. We're not voting because Barack Obama kicked the Eminem rap, which I was offended about that again. Like, here we go. Highest office in the land, and you still got to do sports and entertainment. We still got to do entertainment to get black people's attention. When are we going to be insulted? When are they going to bring out the real scholars? When are they? It's just so insulting. And for us to speak up against it, we ain't black enough. If you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't really black. All that kind of foolishness. And people don't realize in their behavior, they act out the sick psychosis of being victims of white supremacy, even though they claim to be woke. Well, we can't let Trump in because, you know, he's going to put us back in chains. Why he ain't do it in 2020? I mean, 2016. Why we wasn't in chains in 2016? Our brains are changed. But again, F everybody. I just had to get that off my chest.
I want to tag along off of what Tad just said. I not the same conversation, but a similar conversation with someone just a few days ago, and I asked him because he was reading some article that said Trump was going to enslave us. You know, the rhetoric, like you just said, and I said the same thing you said, Tad. I said, but he was already the president. Why he ain't do it already? He ain't say nothing. He just looked around like, you know, like, yeah, that's kind of right, but I ain't got no answer. And he ain't changed the subject. But anyway, with that said, the way I see it is like this. If what I said happens and then we get that flash right after, or even next year, I mean, we right up on it. It's going to happen soon. I believe that. That's what I believe. I can't prove it. We're going to have a Ma'at party, and we're going to base Ma'at on where you at and what is convenient to it at your location. Because Ma'at wasn't the same in Egypt as it was in what we now call America or in Australia or what have you. Or I'm sure when Lemuria had it, it was different from when Atlantis had it. With that said, Brother Tad, let's say things don't change for a year and we get some bot president and, you know, more of the effery until these things actually happen. What I believe we need to do is use your specialty to teach through that. So for you, Brother Tad, in particular, I would believe it would be like you could use the movie called The Spook Who Sat by the Door as your template. Because I see a tendency where you got hot boys or thugs or D-boys or whatever you call them, wherever we are in this country, you know what I'm saying, who think that the only alternative is to go to church and become godly and so on and so forth. And when that play out, you go right back to your old ways, you get high again, you smutting, you doing all the craziness. So we need an in-between to tell people there's a spiritual route you can take. And it doesn't mean you ain't going to still do ratchet stuff, but it means there's another route. The route ain't church or thugging. The route is there are many other vehicles you can take. And that's why I believe my route is dispensing the information and for you to take it and do something with it. You know, I made my point at the top to say people should have some extra stuff around in the event these things happen. Because I used to say this when I first started coming on the show a lot, thinking it was going to happen back then. That's why I stopped talking about it. But I sent the link to you guys, and I sent it to your Facebook page already, Sister Keisha. So when you're ready, you dispense it. I'm done. Y'all can go to the next.
No, you know what's crazy, Brother Black, and I appreciate you because I'm gonna need your +1 when we go into the 5th dimension, because I know you on the guest list. Because a lot of things you have said has happened. I wish back in July, August, you turned that goddamn solar flare down because that heat was killing me. You said the solar flares was coming and they had it up on high. But no.
Hey, when I tried to absorb it, Jabba the Hutt took the hit for me.
but real quick, Sister Marcia, and I'm gonna pass you the mic. In all seriousness, I think about when I came into the movement, when I came into the knowledge back in the 90s and reading about the New World Order and the Illuminati. And I'm glad Brother Black is on here. And he said, you know, go to your Bible. Not saying jump back in the Bible, be a Bible thumper, but, you know, as a frame of reference for where you are, because a lot of things that are in Revelation is where we are now, whether you believe it or not. You know, once you live long enough, you'll start to see a cycle and you see things repeating itself and you realize there's nothing new under the sun. I say all that to say that we will win this, but you're only going to win by playing the game, getting on the field. It's the only way you're going to win. You got to get your head in the game. Racism is a team sport, believe it or not. So be about your folks, because what's so crazy right now, right, family, is you got these woke people. The politicians are woke now, and they're acting like they're race people, like they're a race man or race woman. Yeah, because we black and bet on black. And I'm like, nah, because you ain't the right kind of black. You like a dingy black. You know what I'm saying? You know how you got a good pair of jeans, but they kind of faded black, you know, almost like a dark gray. That's what a lot of these people are. And coming into this knowledge, I realized that we all, us here, those that was on the panel of the OG Wisdom podcast, the people who follow Doggy, you know, who tuned in to watch Sister Keisha do her 1-2, because Sister Keisha did a hell of a job, right? We are the people. We don't need their permission. And that's what I always talk about when I talk about power. Power concedes nothing without a demand. That's what Frederick Douglass said. And I always remind people that you inherently have the power. They need your approval. They need you. Like I said, Hitler didn't walk into office one day. He was co-signed by everybody. People voted him in. They elected him. They supported him. We have to get behind people we believe and people we support, people who have our best interests. We see how Sharpton and the likes don't have our best interests. I even seen a clip of Spike Lee on MSNBC today. You know, it's just a shame and it's embarrassing. But of course, if you're not here in Brooklyn with Spike Lee, you don't see now every time he throw an event up, he got to put the rainbow flag up. Why he don't put an African nation up? He'll rock the red, black, and green, but then he'll throw the rainbow flag up as if that is our fight. What people do in their bedrooms is their business. I don't know why we have to use that as an identity as for black people, because we know for the Yorugus, they use that as a war tactic. You know, that's one of the 9 areas of human activity that they control and weaponize, and that's the sacred energy exchange. They have weaponized that against us as a group and convinced us not to reproduce. So while they knock us off, there's not enough of us reproducing so we can have more folks. You know, we supposed to be like baby kids. We're not supposed to die. We're supposed to multiply, but they can't multiply at the rate that we can. So they convinced us not to multiply at all.
Well, Tad, check this out real quick. We now know that there's a hierarchy. Just because Diddy, Jay-Z, and all these super celebrities is getting exposed, they got bosses. Spike Lee got a boss. He's producing movies for Warner Brothers or whoever he's producing movies for at this particular juncture in time. He got a boss. If he gonna put out a product and be sponsored, he got to do what they say. That's how it works across the board. So when it comes, hold on, let me finish real quick. Al Sharpton, another one. All these people you talking about been at these freak off parties, and they got to do that to get the next deal. And this is what Cat exposed at the beginning of the year. And this is why I keep telling y'all, when it come to influencers, everybody got a boss, and it's the Moors that's dictating to the Rothschilds and to the bloodline families how it's going to go down.
You said the who?
The Moors. Black people. No, not them. They look like regular people. They black people, and this is why the top bloodline family is called what? The black nobility. They're black people, but they're unseen. We don't know who they are. The only one over them is the Gray Pope.
See, Brother Black, we're gonna have to give you an hour just to break all that down.
Hold on, because what blood the, boy, my little African tinglers be going off when I hear stuff. Listen to what he just said.
Yes.
For all of you who used to watch Scandal back in the days, what did Roman say? Roman told the world a black man is running everything. I'm serious. There are scenes on YouTube right now. Put in Roman from Scandal and look at them clips. He was the black man who ran. He told them, he said, I allow you to be white boy. That's what I'm telling you. Everybody feared this black man. You hear me? Sister Vanessa say, yeah, sure did. You remember Scandal? Was Roman not telling the truth? Everything that Black just said. What did he say? What did he say? He said, what's his name? Fitz? He said, I allow you to be the president, white boy. He said, I run this. And the B613 crew, which what we would consider CIA, they stood down when he was around. People looked at Scandal as the relationship with Olivia Pope had with this white president. But her father was the main character in this joint. You hear what I'm telling you? So if you can, go on YouTube, put in Roman from Scandal and listen to his dialogue. Listen, Sister Ruba 927 said he ran everything. Aunt Marie said, yep. But I'm trying to tell y'all, if you don't listen.
No, I get you, Sister.
I don't know. I never watched the show, so I'm like,
but I know what Sister Keisha's talking about because I've seen clips.
And and I think I played one time on the show. Roman was played by Joe Morton, who is my favorite actor. Joe Morton.
I just remember him as a brother from another planet. That was my introduction to him. Remember that old school movie in the 80s? Yes.
And he was on A Different World too, as Whitley's love interest.
Yes.
Right. So, Sister said Scandal was my joint. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was a lot of secrets revealed in that joint because remember, family, Scandal, Olivia Pope character is loosely based off a real a DC fixer. A real black woman. So anyway, we gotta move on.
Before we move on, I just wanted to tag in on what Tad was saying, especially like when he was coming of age in the movement and stuff like that, and trying to have conversations with the elders. And I think that's the place where we will step in, right? Because we wanted to know things from them, and they, like Tad said, just wanted to live in the memory of the past and not listen to our present day struggle. And so, as future leaders of this America, if it should still remain America, but of Turtle Island, should be able to listen to our children as they speak, because there are wisdom in children if we listen. And unfortunately, our elders did not take the space to give us to be able to grow and build. And because they didn't do that, they could not do the transmission of leadership, right? They could not pass on an organization to us because they weren't working on that. All they were working on, remember the time in 1996 when I shut down this and when I did this and when I did that? Yeah, good. Now teach me how to do that. Teach you how to do that. Well, I was this and I was that and I just did it. It's not that you just did it. You had a system that you worked on. And in order for a system to grow is for you to teach the system's process, and I don't think, unfortunately, our elders just wasn't in that mind frame. And like you said, Sister Keisha, there are plenty of other groups of people that is doing it because they understand how system works. And what I would hope for this platform and anyone that's listening is that we understand how system works and be able to transmit that information to the next generation, as opposed to transmitting the global system of white supremacy, because that's not working for us, right? We have to codify ourselves in a place where we can remain solid like other people have.
Ashe.
I'm thinking of a scene in Scandal, and the president is doing his spiel or whatever, and then his wife comes in or whatever, and he shuts down the conversation, and there's a meeting with him and a member of B613, and Roman finds out about it, and he says to the black senator, he said, be a man. Be a man. He said, you want to marry my daughter? You ain't a man. Be a man. He said, you cow down to everything these white folks tell you, and you so scared. Boy, get up. I'm telling you, y'all got to see them scenes with Joe Morton, especially my brothers. You got to see them scenes with Joe Morton. Y'all going to be like, yeah, I'm telling you. But anyway, we got to move on. So, still Diddy news all over the place, but the others is coming out now. I think it was last year or the year before, Brother Tag, when Hulu released the film Von Dutch. I think it was last year or the year before, something. But anyway, right? And we had a discussion here on this show, and I was telling y'all about the fashion industry and how grimy. Listen, the fashion and entertainment industries go hand in hand. Sister Keisha has been in the fashion and shoe industry for 30 years. Y'all hear me? 29 to be exact. July of next year will be 30 years in this business. I've seen so much. Some of y'all favorite celebrities. I can give y'all a story what happened at Club Envy back in the days. Donovan McNabb and Sean Paul. Yeah. So anyway, but Abercrombie and Fitch, that racist institution to begin with is a racist institution. It is a sodomite institution. Now I'm telling y'all that.
Literally.
You don't have to believe me, but I'm telling y'all that from my experience in this industry. There isn't a company that I don't know about or haven't met. Their DMs, buyers, all of that at these trade shows. I used to go to Vegas back in the days. The magic shows in Vegas was off the chain. If I could tell y'all who was doing white cocaine, not pink cocaine, but they was doing white cocaine, sleeping around with so-and-so and so-and-so, I could write a book on that alone. But you know, dude from Fitch got caught. You know, let's listen to the DA. Let's see what he's saying. You know, New York ain't playing. New York District Attorney's offices ain't playing with people. Here we go, Philly.
Today to announce the arrest and charging of 3 defendants. Former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, Michael Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and James Jacobson on charges of sex trafficking and engaging in interstate prostitution. Powerful individuals for too long have trafficked and abused for their own sexual pleasure young people with few resources in a dream of securing a successful career in fashion or entertainment. To anyone who thinks they can exploit and coerce others by using the so-called casting couch system, this case should serve as a warning. Prepare to trade that couch for a bed in federal prison. We're here today to announce
3 hots in
I'll tell
the
you. 3 hots in a cot. Not just him now. Let's not forget what happened in Florida. No, excuse me. What happened in Florida? 157 employees, including some Disney employees, in this sex trafficking ring. You know, like my man said, it's bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy.
It's bigger than Nino Brown. This shit is bigger than Nino Brown.
But I'm glad they rounding them up. I'm glad they're rounding them up. Kudos to all who rounding them up. And get them hoes in Queens too. You know, city council is trying to legalize prostitution. You see, this is what pissed me off about my local representation here in East New York. If you live in Brooklyn, you know East New York has been a hotbed for prostitution since the goddamn 70s. And you had your champions
and all that. Yeah.
Now you had a family
Livonia,
who held political office on this side of town for over 20 years and is still running rampant. You want to know why? Who in their offices are going to see them? How is it that I had to call? You know, we got a new representative now. I had to call his office. If I see one of them hoes walk across my house one more time, I'm going to unalive her and I'm going to come see you. Then you better do something about it. Because if I have to come back over here again, me and you going to have a goddamn problem. So he says, you know, we're working on the problem. I don't want you to work on it. Solution-based today.
act on it.
So I don't know what happened, but they ain't up and down this street no goddamn more. So I'm telling y'all, don't play with these politicians. Know where your local politicians' offices are. Anything that's wrong, pull up. Pull up. Knock on the goddamn door. Open the door. And they better give you a solution ASAP or else. Or else. When I go to Howard Beach, because I ride my bike out there, when you ride past a local representative office, the community's sitting outside. They playing dominoes, they playing cards, they drinking, whatever. But they sitting outside the damn office. They know any and everything that's going on. If I poll every black person right now, where your local representatives' offices are, they can't tell me. You can't tell me a goddamn thing. And let me tell y'all, in Queens, I'm on Queens heavy tonight. Sorry, Marcia, but they gonna get this work.
Listen, get on them because I'm tired of my representatives. I got one that's been there for 900 years and she ain't doing nothing. And every time I complain about her, the people be like, oh. And I'm like, I don't understand why we are like this. And some of the times I sort of think it's because Queens is heavily, or maybe it's changing the demographic, but at one particular time, it was heavily with well-union Southerners and people from the Caribbean, and they just want to live in peace. But what I'm saying is the country that you ran from wasn't in peace, and the country that you're in will not be in peace if you're silent. You can't do this. And they have allowed this woman to sit in this position for 30 plus years, and our community is looking like nothing. There was a particular time before, I'm sorry for stopping you, but there was a particular time right before COVID started exploding. I wanted health records, and I knew her office could give me the health records. That is their job. And they were like, oh no, well, the lady can't do this at this time. At this time, everything is secret. I said, everything is secret? Are you telling me, her constituent, that I can't get information about my health in my district, the district that she represents, the district that I voted? Is that what you're telling me? Oh, yes, we'll get back to you about something. And I promise you, it's just because, like, 9 people that I knew by other people just died automatically. And I'm like, how the hell 9 people just die in a week? This doesn't happen. What's happening? But I tell you, from that moment on, I started speaking to everybody, and everybody still today, they're like, oh, and she's still in office. It's disgusting.
It is. And I just have to question the sanity of everybody who keeps voting for Mr. Comrie. He can barely breathe and walk a half a step.
The big bubble lubber.
He just looked like a walrus. Like, why is he? Who is voting for him? That's what I'm saying.
So
Yes,
the demographic in
Mhm.
Queens, the voting population it's not really heavy. And if he stays in his senior base, he's gonna get the vote. And because younger people aren't really voting, I can actually say, like, if I go to the voting polls right now, you will always see seniors voting. The only time, and I've been voting throughout the time that I can vote, the only time I saw a lot of young people voting was Barack. And then after that, we don't vote. We actually don't vote. When city councils come up every 2 years, we're not there. I'm the only one there going, oh, and then all the, seniors are there, and now new poll workers, younger poll workers. So that's another thing that they're doing. They're employing new younger poll workers versus getting the senior citizen. So that's another different demographic of conversation that we could have. But that's our problem. Our base, Generation X, isn't at the polls. And if we're at the polls, a lot of us are part of some type of fraternity or sorority. So we're just doing whatever the sorority or fraternity tells us to do. We don't have, well, at least in
I'm glad. I'm glad that we are not voting. I'm glad. Stay the hell out of it, because if this is your choice, let the party die. Why are y'all so afraid? That goes to the conversation when people say, well, y'all come at Kamala, but what about you? That means you voting for Trump? No, but if it was, it's none of your goddamn business. That's another issue. I love my family. I love my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. I love them to heavy. You hear me? But if one of them want me to take them to the polls to vote for one, I'm leaving. I'm not taking you nowhere. Because now you're playing me. But see, they would never ask me that. You see what I'm saying? They would never ask me that. This is problematic. When I saw him the other day, I'm like, what? I thought he was dead.
He's like this. He's like this when he talks. Well, now, it's...
We need Brother Tad workout plan.
He needs a lot of things. And even like when I was doing some small projects for nonprofits, even when you're trying to get him to speak to him, he's always funneling you to, speak to my chief of staff, speak to this secretary, speak to this person. I'm sorry.
True
I thought
story.
we had a relationship.
True story. When Charles Brown was being reckless with the Freedom Party, and there was a conference before the Million Youth March at the Adam Clayton Powell State Building. So we let him do his spiel or whatever. When he came off, a man by the name of Bruce Copeney, shout out to Bruce Copeney, I call him Bruce Coleon, out of LG, stopped him in his track and G-checked him and told him, say something so I can knock you the F out. See, boy, I could tell y'all some stories. These people so full of crap. These people full of crap. And let me tell y'all, like the sister Aruba 927, she said, why are people so afraid not to vote? That's my point, sis. I was talking to a baby boomer today. Let the republic fall. Why are you so eager to hold it up when it's not benefiting you, stupid?
They don't know, Sister Keisha. They don't know
what happens next.
That's the problem, brother.
They don't know what happens next. They're used to that structure.
Y'all out of the loop on so much.
They're used to that structure. They're used to my paycheck comes in on the 15th and the 31st. What are you going to tell me when I can't pay my bills? What are you going to tell me when the electricity man comes and say, I'm cutting your electricity? What are you going to tell me when my children are hungry? Let me tell you one thing. Our ancestors had really hard times. Yes, we will have to tough it out. But if we learn how to do group economics, if we go back to the Kwanzaa principles, we could probably get something going. But we have to be willing to work together. And too many times we are not willing to work together. We just want to work apart. And that is our biggest problem. We can't go nowhere if we're not together. Nowhere.
Yeah, it's easy to say that, and I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with anything you just said, Sister Mama. But the point is, you talking about people who are 20 and 30 years older than us. They're in their 70s and 80s now. They don't want to hear that shit. They just trying to.
They're not getting paychecks. People that are 20, 30 years older than us are not getting paychecks. Let's be serious. They are on stipends. They are on stipends.
Okay, whatever. I'm just saying, some of them worked and got pensions and they old now. They're not trying to hear that I'm going to protest. They're not trying to send in no petition. They're not trying to hear none of that. They just want life.
Protest is not going to work in our generation.
Let's
not go into the antiquated system. Let's go into the real system that's going to work for us right now. And what's going to work for us right now is for our collective Gen Xers to get together and start working and building a base. We have no base as Gen X.
No. I disagree, sis.
I disagree with you too, because I agree with everything.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, well, all I want to say is this, real talk. I said it at the top of this segment. I'm talking about the Ma'at party and establishing Ma'at wherever you at in your shape and form. If you got bananas over here and we got oranges on deck over here all day and night, then what I'm saying is your Ma'at may be based on something we don't have, and that's one extra rule that's separate from ours. But if it were over here, it would be the same or applicable, let's say. So that we don't say it's exactly the same, because you have one different condition creates a whole bunch of different other conditions. It doesn't mean dissimilar. It just means it's different. You see what I'm saying? So if you were born in the 50s or before, or the 60s, early 60s even, you know what I'm saying? Your way of thinking is cemented. These people ain't dealing with neuroplasticity. That means your mind is able to go in a lot of different places on different topics if you have to rethink it to make it better, to update to the time we in. They don't have that. They stuck. So if they stop thinking that they need to think more than getting their basic essentials, they ain't thinking about it the way we thinking about it. And they won't watch this show to learn, because they already, man, I'm 30 years old.
So, Brother Black, let me ask you a question. Are you saying that our young people today, the children that's underneath us, won't have the capability of growing and learning how to do something different?
I don't know how you got that from what I just said. Hear
No,
me again.
I'm just asking you a question. Yes or no?
No. They
So
have.
I'm not concerned about the elders or olders in our population group. Right now, we are, like Sister Keisha said, I have to turn around and make sure I can carry you when you're coming out the shopping line. I have to make sure you could check out properly. I'm not concerned about that. I'm here to support you, but I need our people to be able to move forward. So I'm looking for people younger than us, our age group, Generation X and younger. Those are the people that is going to be able to form a future through imagination. Like we definitely know that we may be stuck in certain areas, and a lot of our people may be stuck in a lot of areas, but there is the idea of imagination that we can grow out of.
Let me show
So
you.
our neuroplasticity, as you said, can expand when we're looking at younger people versus looking at the elders.
I got it. Are you done? Because I don't want to interrupt you. Okay, now this is what you're saying in theory is great, but this is the reality of it. You have a son or children, let's say 2 children. They think you're crazy because they're regular people. They're not chosen. And they could be, but they may have to come to that later. They're still children. Remember, we're not talking about 17 and 19-year-olds. We're talking 5 and 7, let's say. Okay, now, because you're the only one like you in your family, you teach your kids what you want them to know based on what you know, not what your mother and your extended family taught you. Is that correct? Okay, they go to grandma's for the weekend. Your mother is teaching them out of everything you teach them because she taught you, so why should she teach your grandchildren any different? You come from her. That is the mentality for most of us. And you know, because you're closer to your children than your mother is, because you're their mother. You know what I'm saying? She's your mother. They trust her more because she's older and she's your mother. She must know better, is the mentality of the children, if you don't continue teaching them your way. And then they get to a point where they take one road or the other.
I'm not going to
Most of them are regular people. Let me just finish and then I'm going to let you have it. Most of them are regular people. They're going to choose the route of the grandmother, the religious, the this, that, and the third, and whatever. And the flip side of that is being a thug. But they still believe in Jesus and all that. All they got to do is get on their knees and ask God to forgive them. It's a wrap. All their sins are forgiven, even if they kill people. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm going to let you talk.
I'm not going to disagree with what you're saying. But what I'm also saying is that if when the flash comes and we're entering different dimensions and we have our children stuck at looking at grandma, then we still remain in the third dimension. So do we want to enter into another dimension, or do we want to revert back? Because this is what you're saying. You're saying that my children come and they go to their grandparents' house and the same conversation, the antiquated conversations are happening at their house. And in my house, there are newer conversations. If we're moving to newer places, then the newer stuff has to drill in. We can't have our children always looking back. We have to take the backward information, absorb it, and do something with the future with it. We can't keep saying that we're going to be backwards. That's what I'm afraid that's what I'm understanding. And if I'm understanding wrong, then I'm understanding wrong.
Let me explain why I think we diverge that. What I think is that most people are regular. I said this already. Hear me again. Hear me say this in particular. Most people are regular. I'm talking about children now. So if you want to use the concept of the 85, 10, and the 5, 85% of them is going to go grandma's route. 10% of them are going to be somewhere in the middle, and they're either going to use it to monopolize or manipulate is the word I'm looking for. Sorry. Manipulate the 5%, excuse me, the 85% because they're smart and they know what we're talking about. They know exactly what we're talking about, but they're going to be the preachers like Al Sharpton and TD Jakes that at the end of the day doing all the shit they telling us that we shouldn't be doing. That's like the police brutalizing you for nothing. They know better. That's like the judge wrongly convicting you. So what I'm saying is if they take that route, they're going to be the 10, the 85, or the 5. We are the 5. And that's why for us, this conversation is so mundane and so pedestrian. But for them, it's like, what the hell are these niggas talking about? I want to go with grandma.
Agreed, Tammy. We gotta move on. We gotta move on. Sorry.
I'm here having conversations with the 5. So let the 5 stand up.
We gotta move on. We gotta move on, sis. We gotta move on. This is, but anyway, we are doing work. We are doing work. All of us are doing work. And we're the grandparents now. We're the grandparents now. And I agree with what Brother Black says. You know, if my daughter is here and my grandson is here, if he wants something, he gonna skip right past her and come straight to me. Period. Period. No matter what. And I have to send him back. Go ask your mother. He go, oh. You know, he go, oh. You see what I'm saying? So it is true, but we are doing work. We have to stop looking at this as a defeat. Whether you look at Thorough Black Talk or OG Wisdom Podcast, Doggy Diamonds, Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black Truth, The Black Authority, Sabby Sabs, Pink Book, whatever. We are all doing the work.
Word.
All of us, we are doing the work. So we have to stop. The fight is different. I don't want to use their way. It worked. The juice is gone. We can't use it no more. I will sit for guidance. You see what I'm saying? I will sit for education and wisdom, but you can't tell me how to pick up this spear and fight no more. Because if your way worked, we wouldn't be in this position. So sit down and have several goddamn seats. You see what I'm saying? And that's for all of us. I don't give a damn. If you don't like it, y'all know how to reach me. I'm outside. See me. But anyway, that's it. Period. You know, and I'm glad that the heat is coming against Kamala Harris. Because for the Democrats, it's up for y'all too. Just like these perverts, it's up for y'all too. What about them freak-offs in the congressional chamber that's taking place? Let's get to that.
And in City Hall.
Why didn't the feds rush into the homes of the executives of TD Bank for being money launderers? I want to see that. I want to see their kids in handcuffs.
Okay, let me give you some game on. I'm sorry.
Hold on, brother. I got to finish because we got to move on. We got to deal with this fact. And those of you, I'm speaking specifically for you voters out there. Why haven't you checked your representation to make sure that happened? Just like those folks went to their representation and made sure Diddy and his sons was in handcuffs. That Kanye do get the jab somewhere. That so-and-so and so. You see what I'm saying? They on it. You know, I listened to Bill Cosby's publicist, Mr. Wright. I like him.
Yeah.
And he was saying, you know why Diddy was put in the position that he was and locked up? Because he refused to grow up. He has a childlike mind. His closest circle are just like him. Nobody's growing up. He said, but when you look at somebody like a Jay-Z, for example, you know, his friend is Barack Obama. So he got presidential connections.
That's right.
Just so y'all can understand what's happening out here. And a lot of us, when it comes to politics, refuse to grow the up. You refuse to grow up. And most of you don't read. But you want to challenge me. Okay. All right. See how that's working for you. So now they are grasping for straws, both parties, to sustain themselves. They going to get Eminem. They done had Megan Thee Stallion. They done had Cardi B. What else they want? What other tricks?
Now they going
Taylor
to the
Swift. And
Don't forget Usher. Don't
Hold on,
forget
hold on.
Usher.
They bringing out the Queen Bee now. Beyonce is gonna pop.
yeah, isn't that Sunday in Houston? You
Yeah.
got 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. Let me tell y'all something right now. All of you are employed. You got sick days, vacation days, personal days. Put it in for the Monday before election day. Don't take your ass to work.
That's right. Black Solidarity Day.
Don't buy nothing. Take off.
Absolutely.
Take off. Call out sick. I don't care what you got to do. Don't go into the plantation and don't buy nothing. We got to stand for something, family. We got to stand for something. We're moving on. We're moving on. We can't keep going back because you're slowing up the fight. They light years ahead of us. And we got to slow down the fight to catch y'all. I don't got time for that. You know, shout out to the chat. Got to give it up to the chat. Brother Ray said, I'm voting for Dawn, and whoever don't like it, Kennedy is going to stop the jab. A lot of people lost their jobs. Shout out to the people in California who just won their $1 billion lawsuit. I told y'all to sue these unions. I told y'all. They did y'all dirty.
Well,
Every last one of y'all who was forced, every last one of y'all who was forced to take that jab, sue you. You start there. Start there. You lost money because you had to take time off of work because you refused to do it. Sue them. Sue them. And don't settle. Take it to trial, baby. Because that's the only way you get things changed. Then you could get your money on the back end. You get even more once you take things to trial. That's why people like Mushmouth Crump always look to settle cases because it changes nothing. That's why the police could kill you with impunity because you ain't going to trial for nothing. He just settled. Just settle. Knock it off, family. Knock it off. Either you're grown or you're a child.
Sis, real quick.
Go ahead.
Last night, and I meant to bring this up, and I'm glad you mentioned it. Last night, I went to see a documentary called Thank You, Dr. Fauci. It's about to be streaming. I think this weekend is going to be on thankyouDrFauciMovie.com. Thank you. I automatically thought about our brother Ray when I saw the picture. I'm quite sure a lot of this information he's already familiar with, but it's super dope, and it's going right back to what you said, but it's identifying the key players, putting it all in perspective from the Ebola crisis down to the AIDS crisis, all of this stuff to his Fauci's congressional hearings, all the key players that were involved, the people that they did exclude, like the director of the CDC, they didn't include him on all the big meetings that they had. They showed how it was in Wuhan, how he did find it. Yo, so much information, and that's why what we do is important because we bring another thought pattern, another perspective, another paradigm, because our folks trust the news source. And we know the news has been biased since I think it was the 80s, since the 70s or the 80s. Have they stopped being objective and started being subjective and started telling you? Because I can remember when I was growing up that the news was supposed to be fair. So they didn't endorse one candidate or another that I can remember. Maybe my consciousness wasn't there. But to see attack on other candidates in the media like we see now, to see stories, to see lies being told, blatant lies being told in the news. And a lot of our people are still of the mindset that the information has to be true if they're going to just blatantly put it out there, because many of our folks don't believe that they would tell such a huge lie like that's being told. Because even if people watch the congressional hearings, when Rand Paul was on Dr. Fauci's heels, Dr. Fauci was saying that he didn't even tell people they had to socially distance and it wasn't mandatory to get the jab. He's like blatantly lying. He was blatantly lying under oath. And unfortunately, the powers that be still let him walk off in the sunset, because he wasn't found guilty of all the crimes that he's committed. But again, as we see all of these people that's into this pedo stuff and all of these deviants are being exposed, the time is coming. The time is coming. And our purpose is to help everybody be aware so that we can all get in position so that when the shift change, we're not lost and confused, running around like a chicken with our head cut off, looking for the people who polluted the system to rebuild it with a more solid structure so that next time they can't be taken down. Because we forget how young this country really is. This country, slavery in this country is older than this country itself. You know, so when they tell us forget it, forget about it. No, we can't forget about it because the system is still operating, which I call the prison industrial complex. You know, there's more that I could say, but I just had to put that Dr. Fauci piece out there.
I can't wait to see that.
Yes, I believe it comes out this Saturday.
And just for the record, again, all roads lead to the BK William Mackey History Club next week, Wednesday. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation of how we want to move forward politically. Let's start from somewhere. So if you are interested, you know, for those of you who are out of the city, the Zoom will be available. I will post it on the Thorough Black Talk Facebook page once Ray sends it to me, because we're going to have some conversations on how we move forward, because we are poised right now. Just as a write-in vote, we can seize these local offices ASAP. But let's hear this clip from one Madam President, and we'll come right back, and then we'll see some things that Sister Marcia and I saw. Hold on.
Right, so Bill Gates, the co-founder of Microsoft, has donated $50 million to Kamala Harris' presidential campaign, according to the New York Times. Now, here's my concern. First of all, I understand that running for president requires lots and lots and lots of money, because the American people have to be convinced. The American people like the show and entertainment over actual physical, evident political change. All right. So that's fine. So you need lots of money. But my concern is taking the money from a person like Bill Gates. What do you got to do for him in return? This is a person who constantly wants to get the American people vaccinated. This is a person who's buying up all of the land, creating his own agriculture. Modified GMO is his name. We could just call him Big GMO. We could call him Modifier, because he is not about natural anything. I don't know if this is a good look. All right, so
it's not a good look. It's horrible, family. It's horrible. Like, you know, she is I told you I don't trust hoes. I don't. This is, and I'm not saying it just to be disrespectful, but she is a career mistress.
Mark Lamar Hill gonna get you. Can't call her that.
Send him and his chick to see me.
You got a boyfriend.
I'll take both of them.
Mark Lamar Hill don't get a chick. He got a boyfriend.
What is that?
Listen. We seen the CGI and the doubles and the twin lists and all that. That ain't them. They've been gone. That's Q list again, Sister Keisha, for you. So you don't start saying I'm saying craziness. I could send y'all the list all day and night. They're on millions of websites. So I'm done.
Oh man, I'm not saying nothing. You hear me? I'm not saying nothing. You see, you make me choke now. Leave me alone. Sister Marcia and I and a couple of the children, we've been visiting some museums lately, because family, not everything you can get in a book. Excuse me. Some things you got to visit these museums. So, Sister Marcia, tell them about our experience at the Brooklyn Museum.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we were at the museum, just us, and it was phenomenal. And one of the things that I didn't know that I needed to know is that the Brooklyn Museum is founded or sits on a ancient reservation of our people that lived on Turtle Island before we even existed, or as part of us. So that was really interesting. As you go through the slides, sis, I could caption in. Maybe not. This is my favorite exhibit of Elizabeth. I'm gonna stay right there because I like to butcher words and I don't want to butcher words on screen. So okay. So Elizabeth was going through the Black experience and she had, this one exhibit is so freaky. And Sister Keisha was like, look at it, look at it, look at it. So if you see on my right, the one with the eyeballs, when you walk past it, right or left, it follows you. It seems like something with the eyes, something with the way the eyes sits in this statue just rotates with the person as they walk through. It's just like one of those mood rings. You know how the mood changes and it follows you around? So it has that mood ring emphasis in it. So that was really freaky. And Sister Keisha was like, go ahead, move to the left, move to the right, go ahead, walk back. So brothers and sisters, I was really, really freaked out with this one.
It was funny because I had seen it previously. And as we came across it, I was telling Sister Marcia, I said, watch the eyes. And she was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Very, very.
You should have videoed that moment because I was freaked out for a moment. That was a good look. That was a good time. That was a good time.
It was fun.
So that was a highlight.
So I like this piece of Jack Johnson, and I love this.
And what's really interesting is the conversation that Candace had on with Judge Joe Brown on Jack Johnson. So it really made him even look like a star after I looked back, right? In my mind, when I did my personal look back, I was like, this guy really thugged it out for us because, and again, the idea of wanting to be with a non-Black person is really interesting, and it calls to the oppression that he probably went through personally, right? And so he wanted that status figure. But I really did enjoy this statue as well, this painting as well.
He was dating Mae West at one time. She was like She was like the Marilyn Monroe of the early 1900s when he was.
Yeah, and the white folks didn't like him for that. And this is why the trafficking laws come into play.
Oh, thank you for knowing that, sis.
Yeah. So so right here,
the Mann Act.
Yes, thank you, sis. So so as soon as he went to Florida with her from Georgia, that's it, we got him. They're so happy. And just to see that our ancestors really struggled with who they were and still had the ability to go pound for pound. Judge Joe Brown was like, they went to fight to the end. I was so amazed with that part of the conversation. Despite me knowing it before, I think he, in the conversation with Candace, I think he just put a new vigor to it, despite the fact that he kept rambling. But we'll curtail that for another day.
But also Jack Johnson was pardoned by Donald Trump.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
When we were with the Freedom Party, one of the goals was to pardon Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Absolutely. He deserves a pardon. Because we are still suffering under the same oppressions that he was, as a immigrant coming in and saying, we all face these same oppressions, and we still don't realize as a body of Black people that we face the same oppressions no matter what land we live on is part of the conversation. But this was really fantastic, looking at antiques or artifacts of a particular time period. I believe this time period is between 1950 to 1970, sister, of the bus stops and different signage and books. One thing about this exhibit, they showed us so many books that we definitely need to put in our library for reading. I love this Thanksgiving greeting from the people. So, what were the people of New York called?
New Yorkers.
No,
New York City or New York
no.
State? Because there were too many.
So I definitely understand there's going to be many, but I'm talking about the people of Turtle Island, when it was Turtle Island before they became colonized. Those people that were here, because I love this this gratitude address that was given, and I particularly love the one to the moon. I think I shared that on my Facebook page. But sis, do you know?
There were many tribes.
Okay.
You had the Lenape, you had the Canarsie, you had many tribes here. And the problem is that when a lot of people sit down to their Thanksgiving meal, I bet you no one has ever read the original address. Well, this is a part of the original address. So you guys can see that. But it was this exhibit.
Oh, the men, the woman men, the woman men. You know, the woman men, recently I reread the Willie Lynch paper, and or the letter, whatever they call it. And it really pointed out what they did to us, right? By making the man still physically strong, still physically capable, but then he's broken in his spirit. And then the woman, she's not physically strong, but her mind is strong. And so she's wearing the pants, and she's this and she's that. And I think one of the things that, you know, I've been looking at Kamala through the course, right? And I'm not sure whether I like or dislike the fact that she's always wearing pants, but the fact that she's always wearing pants, I think sort of bothers me. But, you know, she got, oh, my bike. You want to take a ride with my bike? Let's go on a ride.
This one I found very interesting.
Yes.
You see, brothers and sisters, it is a replica of a Tekken or Tekkenu, as Anthony Browder teaches us, right? But you would think that is in relationship to us. But there were stickers wrapped around this entire Tekken of mass shootings committed by those folks. I thought this exhibit was profound because the Tekken is representative of us, right? The black male phallus.
The phallus.
But
and it's all wrapped with
mass shootings of Urugu.
And we're not known to do something like that, but to put that bullet on us, that's so disgusting. Ah, our mother.
Yes.
Our mother.
Yes, I love that.
Is that
your mother, Fannie Lou Hamer?
Yes.
Okay. I know it was good enough.
I think I showed this last week.
This is your favorite sign. She was like, look.
Takeover. It's the takeover. It's the takeover. It's the takeover. But, you know, also I found this very, very interesting. This exhibit of William Leo Hansberry and W.E.B. Du Bois, and, you know, some excerpts from their writings and the Crisis newspaper. Very, very interesting on the verbiage, because I'm starting to hear it repeated now. Also, this woman, again, I think I mentioned her last week, Pauline Hopkins.
I'm sorry, Sister Keisha, before you go further, what is the verbiage that you're starting to hear again?
So they echoed the idea of immigrants coming in, stealing jobs. It's an echo. And if we are not prevalent to the echo, we repeat the echo. And so Sister Keisha and I found that really interesting, that echo was happening.
And also this exhibit of Pauline Hopkins, Aunt Marie, she encouraged Black people to study their history long before there was a Dr. Clark or a Dr. Ben or whoever. But I never heard of her until I went to the museum and saw this exhibit, and I started looking for some of these books. I ordered 2. So I got 2 coming to me. And here is
that's your cousin.
Could be.
She is. I claimed her for you.
Travels in Ethiopia. Very, very interesting. Here is an ad with her in it from 1902. Talking about her books, rather, not her, but talking about her books in 1902. They had a lot of female sculptures. Again, this is Elizabeth Catlett. This is a part of her exhibition. But then we come over here.
Chichi City.
Right. Nothing but zest. Let me just say that. The whole goddamn thing was zest.
Chichi City.
It was. These are on display at the Brooklyn Museum. I also found this piece.
Why is the bullseye always on
his
our
face?
brothers?
See?
Why is it always on our brothers? And and it's poignant that this whole section is juxtaposition with the Black Panther theme, right? And so the idea of brothers reclaiming their minds, reclaiming their sovereignty, and still being a target from that, it's really poignant for us as sisters to really look at where we can help our family become, because this should never be a symbol. And I'm so tired of this being a target practice for our children. And I think, in several episodes past or seasons past, that you were talking about officers using symbolisms of us as their paper target practice. So that's just sad. The ancients.
Yeah, they still have this exhibit there as well. But I got something for my brother Tad and my brother Blacksmith. Looking through this is from the scroll, the Book of the Dead.
But about Wallace Budge.
Yeah, but I wanted to. The original book, Tad.
Most people go always talks about Budges.
This is the original, but the first excerpt. I don't know if y'all can read it, but I'm going to expand it. Maybe you can see it.
You can. There we go.
He said, "I am a swallow. I am a swallow."
Swallowed.
I first saw this, and I know people was looking at me like, "What the hell is wrong with the statement?" I was dying. I said, "I gotta take a picture of this. I gotta bring this back for Brother Black and Brother Tad." But yeah, this is also the entire scroll. Actually, is on
Shout out
display.
to TD Jakes. Our Bishop TD Jakes.
Our honorable bishops who be at the titty parties.
That's brother power bottom to you, my man.
Oh wow. Wowzers. There's a lot going on here.
Now we come to the dinner party. Very, very interesting place settings imagined of women of history. They even have one of Queen Hatshepsut. But this one here of Margaret Sanger. Very, very telling. It looks like fallopian tubes running of blood.
Well, they're all of, the lady part,
Yeah.
In different formats, but hers was the creepiest one.
It was.
Hers was the creepiest one.
Hey, did y'all ever hear about that women eat the placenta after they have a child in certain tribes and all over the world?
No,
but that's
here in the U.S.
for us.
The polygamists do it out there in Utah.
That's supposed to be healthy for us. Helps us.
That's what they say.
That's what they said. I don't know.
Well, then let me die. I'm good with it. I'm good with going. I'm good. I'm all right. I had a good life. This is Join the Truth place setting.
I didn't really appreciate this one, but I understood it.
And then you see who carries her. underneath. So you have Harriet Tubman here, Ida B. Wells is over here. But very, very interesting exhibit. This is one. Let me see, because I think I went over this the other day with the history of the Democratic Party. But I wanted you guys to see this from the New York Historical Society because we went there as well. Shout out to the Ziax Institute students who were there.
Yes. With the little kandakes.
Yes. But you see, what does it say at the top of the ticket? 1867.
No Negro equality.
Today in 2024, do you have Negro equality?
Absolutely not.
So the philosophy remains the same.
Absolutely.
We need to remind the people out there that was the Judge Taney versus Dred Scott decision.
Excuse me?
That they prefaced with that article, on the last page. Taney versus Dred Scott, when it says the white defiance.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want us to reference successful cases because that's very, very important. And I think we talked about that before, but I get your point, Brother Black. I'm not, shutting you down or anything. I just wanted us to remember that. Also, the cases that we talked about that were successful before Dred Scott. Now, moving on to FDR's administration, right? We gotta move through this. Do you want Negroes in your school? If you do not want, then go to the polls this coming Monday or whatever for removal, right? This was the platform. What's the platform now? I'm going to put on a Thorough Black Talk Facebook page. I know our people. I know y'all don't like to read. It's all right. Some of us got to do it for you.
Yes, we should know what the what do they call?
Hold on one second. I'm going to put audio versions of Project 2025. Okay, it's I'm going to put. They are posted in hour-long tapes, if you will. There are 10 sessions in all, so that's 10 hours, right? Because I know y'all don't like to read, so I'm gonna put it up there for you. Okay. Now, think tanks have the ability to influence politicians. Most politicians rely on think tanks. Black people don't have a think tank.
That's right.
So that could also be a subject for discussion next week at the BK William Mackey History Club. Here are some ads that I found very interesting as it relates to Black people and how the system played Black people, disrespected Black people, marginalized Black people for the vote. Here is an ad and it says Negro rule, the vampire that hovers over North Carolina. So the Democrats pretty much was saying, this is what's going to happen to you when you start
if you let those Negroes vote.
Facts. Now it says Negro Road Overseer, Craven County, seen on a road where white men are working, the public roads under a Negro overseer. So the Democrats were saying this is going to happen to y'all. Yep. Black people going to rule over y'all if y'all vote Republican.
Yep.
Right? So you have the ballot. It looks like a bat over here on the right side. And underneath on the sleeve, it says honest white man. Right? Negro rule over here.
And look how small they made his head.
For it. Say it again, sis.
Look how small they made our brother's head. Like he has no mind. He can't think. He has nothing.
Now this one right here. As I said before, the policies, the philosophy never, ever changed. They just throw, as Brother Black say, so many distractions before you. You think that it has. You believe that there was a switch because that's what they told you. There was a combined party. It started that way. It was called the Democrat Republican Party. I'm going to post that on I think I did earlier today. I found a little 2-minute video because I know y'all. I know my folks. You gotta keep it short and concise.
That's
So
right.
I put it up there so y'all can see it. But I mean, listen to it for yourself. You say Sister Keisha ain't lying. But check this out. Negro, the only issue. Have the people no other interests worth looking after? The status of political parties. Now here, the Republican Party in the field. You see the white man carrying the black man. Now, all of these leftist political pundits are coming after black men. For those of y'all who stand with the Republicans, they've been coming after you, Brother Ray Ray. Saying the white man is carrying you. Look at the Democrat Party. A black woman is carrying a white man on her shoulders.
And you know, when you reread the
hold on. Let me finish reading it.
Okay.
It says spectacular entertainment to attract the attention of the people while politicians pick your pockets by means of national banks and treasury rings. Right? Now, this is the Democrat platform. This is the Republican platform. Now, where is this white man sitting? Right? On the chest. He's below the nuts. Now, I can't go through all of this now. I'm going to post it on our Thorough Black Talk Facebook page. I want y'all to read the commentary here. I want y'all to read it. When black people voted and they pulled up, this is in the 1800s. This is actually 1876, this cartoon right here. But when black men came up to vote, these white men said, listen here, you're going to vote the way we tell you or else. Same today. If you don't vote Democrat, if you don't vote Republican, how dare you? How dare you? Talk about the Freedmen's Bureau. They made fun of the Freedmen's Bureau. They said black folks were shiftless and lazy.
And stole all their money afterwards.
If we allowed the Freedmen's Bureau to stand, this is what it is. This is what it is. 2 platforms. The Democratic platform is for the white man. The Republican platform is for the Negro. They always used us. You ain't gonna find these ads of Latinos. Go ahead and Google them. Go ahead. Find 1800, 1700 printed ads, printed cartoon ads of Latinos. Go ahead.
They were Negroes just like us.
No, ma'am. They didn't exist. Okay. They didn't exist. And they still don't. When it comes to politics, I keep telling y'all, we are the glue that holds it all together. Just go through the history. The history will tell y'all that. But you don't believe me. You don't want to read. I'm going to post all of these on the page so y'all can see and go through them at your own leisure. Go through them at your own leisure. Nothing has changed. Now, we went in the Brooklyn Museum. We came across FDR's race tickets and literature that was put out. In grateful appreciation to our commander-in-chief, Roosevelt, from the Negroes of Texas. You know, y'all got to read all of this. And when you read it, you're going to say, well, goddamn, they saying the same thing today. People got mad when Trump said those black jobs because they were set aside for you. Here's the publication. This came from Congress View. 1944. Safeguard job rights for Negroes now. And when you read this, they talk about the union jobs, family. They made a deal because remember I told y'all last week there was supposed to be a march on Washington during this time. So they had to stop it, but they got played. Mary McLeod Bethune and them, they got played because they fell for the okie doke.
Mm-hmm.
They fell for the okie doke. Negro people carrying Roosevelt to the polls. And some letters, some correspondence that I found between Mary McLeod Bethune and Eleanor Roosevelt and the like. We went to the Bethune house. Shout out to Team SWAT. And before I go off tonight, I got we gotta clap it up for my swap sister, Natasha, who beat breast cancer. Team swap. That's right. Clap it up for Sister Natasha right now. Love you, sis. Love you, sis. They can't hold Team Swap down. Cancer can't hold us down. You crazy? We out here.
Yeah.
But we went to the Bethune Museum and Archives out in D.C. Out in D.C. This is Meridian Hill Park. For those of you who ever been on a field trip with Anthony Browder, you know Meridian Hill Park. This is now in the center of Meridian Hill Park.
That's dope. Because they just added that, right?
Not too long ago.
Right.
And yeah, y'all gotta listen. Next week, I promise, we gonna go through this stuff because we got caught up with some things tonight. We really couldn't go through it, but we gonna go through these correspondence because the same pandering that Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and everybody else is doing to black people now
is the same that happened before.
Same thing. Look at these three right here.
Shout out to Reverend Al Sharpton.
Oh.
And Sweet Cheeks, Bayard Rustin, and Shirley Chisholm.
You know, and this is the arrested development that we're in.
We got to bring back
why we need the freedom pardon.
Speaking of singing groups, a great man once said Reagan was depressed, but I voted for Shirley Chisholm.
Yeah, I remember. But family, we come to the end of our program. I'm telling you, boy, time flies when you're having fun. But next week, I promise, we got some more museum stuff to show y'all. It's gonna blow your mind. I'm telling you. Follow our Thorough Black Talk Instagram page. We have some videos up there as well. Appreciate all the new followers and subscribers. Shout out to y'all. Clap it up. That's right.
You got the special mic, the special claps.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Brother Tad.
Brother Tad comes in with the 1-2. He ain't playing.
Yes.
So,
working hard.
Thoughts and comments. Let's get the people up out of here.
You need to put he needs some milk comment in there. and what's the other one? Bruh.
I got this one for you.
Sister Keisha, shut his mic down, please. What is it for the rest of the year? Now, real talk, y'all. It's been a great show. I love the museum exhibits. Man, y'all making me want to come back to the East Coast and go see something. You know what I'm saying?
But nothing yet. Wait till next week.
Woo! We're gonna make it till next week with what I said at the top. Hey, anyway, if we do,
I'm gonna make it because you know.
Ashe, praise it to the ancestors. We here.
Yeah, but like I said at the top of the show, y'all, just keep a little extra stuff this weekend. Watch the videos we posting. Look at the stuff we seeing, the solar flares and the solar activity and the moon appearing in the daylight hours, especially when we had that harvest hunter or whatever full moon for like 4 days. Just a week ago, you know, I saw the moon in the daytime, bright.
Is that the only time you've ever seen the moon in the daytime? That's the first time?
But I mean, it was a super moon on top, so you could see it like, nah, it ain't the sun. It's morning time.
I'm a moon fanatic, so I definitely be following that. But
you didn't see that?
I saw it.
Let them close out, sis. Let them close out. We got to get out of here. I got to anyway. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just keep it tight. Be respectful. Love each other as much as possible, and continue watching shows and reading and you know, doing your knowledge as much as possible. Much love to the panel. Much love to those out there listening as we speak, and much love to those who see this when they see it. Just the Marmar, you got it. Peace.
Again, I am Marcia. And I would love to thank all of y'all for following, sharing, and liking our content. We are here to serve and to better our environment because we are phenomenal people and the universe is ours. We must reclaim it. And so with that said, thank you, Sister Keisha, for your time with the Young Kandakes. They really enjoyed it. Check out Africans on the Rise Instagram page. Our Young Kandake definitely did a report. We're waiting on 2 more, but just check it out and really understand that if we communicate with our young people about our stories, they will absorb it with truth. Remember, may time flourish or make time flourish. It's all up to you, Brother Tad.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. You know, shout out to all the new listeners and viewers. I want to definitely recognize all the usual suspects, our sister Aruba, sister Farnessa, sister Aminatu, and the rest of the family, our brother Ray, you know, sister Marie, Aunt Marie, of course, sister Pat. You know, check me out and my partner C Gutter every Sunday at 2 p.m. on the OG Wisdom Podcast. So hopefully you were inspired by something you heard or saw tonight. Now it's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Thank you guys for tuning in and rocking out with us. We are grateful and appreciative of you coming in and rocking out. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody that it goes down every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. right here on the Brooklyn Bridge. And you never know what's going to happen. Tonight, we're going to close out with the judge. God darn it. Judge Joe Brown is headed with Kamala. Here we go. Good night, fam.
Everybody's feelings, but we got a witch running for president. That woman is the worst kind of sleaze you can ever think of. I was in California when it was going down. And I used to represent 40 years ago a whole chunk of pimps and hoes in Memphis. And I know a hoe when I see one. And when I see a hoe, I know she got a pimp. And I want to find out who the pimps are that we getting tricked out on the benefit of. Who are the pimps that this woman is working for? And I see some decent ladies out there. I've met a few of you. And I resent the fact that you got a hoe that's being your face. You see, tomorrow is yesterday today. So today was yesterday and it'll be tomorrow. That's why we have to understand today. What the hell did you just say? Are you going to fake off about being a Negro? I met a daddy. Sat next to the man for 2.5 hours at the Governor General's table down in Jamaica. My ex-wife asked him what he was. He said he was Irish and he was Hindu. She said, you don't have anybody black in your family? He said, no. I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings, but we got.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Social talk and politics. Every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary way.